This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas will receive $4.1 million to assist with meeting some of its emergency needs, including a new roof and tower. Speaking at the corporation's Middle Managers Workshop Friday, Minister with responsibility for broadcasting, Bernard Nottage, said he was able to negotiate the low-interest loan from NIB.
Each unit of the government that requires funds from the budget must look very carefully at how they spend money, whether it's being done in the most efficient and effective way and the most productive way. But it also has to look with units like yours. If you have the capacity to earn money, that you earn as much money as you can from the services you provide to those persons who are your customers.
ZNS Financial Controller Eugene Higgs says that's exactly what Friday's conclave was about. With a financial sales target at $6 million for 2015, he says middle managers will have to get out there to help fund the corporation.
First of all, I'm going to wait for the 4.1 before I start to spend it. But there has been a number of projects identified. For example, I think we have a quote that's about 4 or 5 years old for the roof. The roof is going to cost about $600,000. We do tend to have significant expenses. I just highlighted a number of them. For example, we pay almost $1 million to BDC a year. We pay about $400,000 a year to BDC. These are very large expenditures. And when we get our subvention, what we get in subvention and what we don't get in subvention, we need to make up in sales. And right now, that's not happening. If that's not happening, where is the money going to come from?
All right, now middle managers met for most of the day discussing their departmental visions and plans for the new year. Deputy General Manager for the Northern Service, Stanley Pinder, says by the end of Friday's conclave, middle managers will have a paper that will be presented to executive management by next week.
Students enrolled in the new LLB program at the College of the Bahamas got some useful advice from some of the best legal minds in the business during a legal seminar hosted by the college today.
Department Head Dr. Peter Maynard noted that the seminar is part of efforts to raise awareness of the new LLB program at COB while ensuring that law students are well informed.
So we deal with key issues rather than rely upon the conversation in the barbershop or among friends. Here's an opportunity to have experts locally and internationally talk about the key issues that should cross your mind, such as conflicts of interest, having an engagement letter, in which you go in your engagement letter, how billing, what is ethical billing, and also we'll be doing things like liability of lawyers, of partners.
Now, the seminar included morning and afternoon sessions. Dr. Maynard talked about some of the special features of the afternoon sessions.
There's a session on a day in the life of an associate. It gives an insight into what an associate goes through daily. Associate, you relied upon not just to do a technical preparation of documents, but also to make some judgment calls. And so the session in the afternoon tests the judgment of the public, of the audience, as to what a lawyer should be suggesting by way of advice. And that's a highly acclaimed program, very, very well received, for example, in Russia and other parts of the world. I myself participated in it in Russia, so I know it's an excellent program.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I am Jared Higgs. Though there are tax evasion and port security concerns over Potters Key and Family Island ports, the Arawak Port Development Company is projecting a 40.2% net income increase for 2015. In its annual report for 2014, the company forecasts a strong financial year for its shareholders. The report projects revenue increases of 8.1% year over year for the 12 months ending June 2015. In other business news, Fidelity has announced third quarter earnings reflecting income increases for the 9 months year to date to $9.87 million compared to $6.77 million for the same period last year. Ordinary shareholders increased to $9.26 million or 32 cents per share. And U.S. job growth is the best it's been in 2 decades. The government issued a report that showed employers have added at least 200,000 jobs for 9 straight months, the longest such stretch since 1995. The unemployment rate now stands at 5.8%. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I am Jared Higgs.
World War II veterans attended a Remembrance Day Thanksgiving service at St. Agnes Church today to remember their comrades who gave their lives in the fight for freedom. The Thanksgiving service was held ahead of the National Remembrance Day service, which is to be held on Sunday. Administrator of the British Legion, Adina Monroe.
And 2 years ago, they said that they wanted to do a service just for them and to remember their comrades that have passed. And so today, we kick off with a Thanksgiving service at St. Agnes Church. And after here, we will have a military exercise with the hoisting of flags in front of the newly renovated Veterans Headquarters on Blue Hill Road.
Now, Monroe noted that an exhibition will also be held, which will highlight 11 women veterans.
This remembrance season, we are remembering our the brave 11 Bahamian females who served during World War II between 1939 and 1945. And that exhibition will be held at the Harry C. Moore Library, and it will be out for the public the 10th through the 15th of next week.
Youth in the Bain and Grantstown community banding together to form the Urban Renewal Youth Advisory Committee. Now, the committee is made up of mostly students from the C.R. Walker Senior High School, and they paid a courtesy call on the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, who commended the students for their community building efforts. The association's president, Linda Pianame, and vice presidents Larissa Smith and Ruben Moss say the association gives them an opportunity to stand up for young people in their community.
Well, the YAC was established on the 9th of September 2014, and it motivated me to think about the youths in our community and the Beans and Grantstown community, and we needed to have like a voice on behalf of them. I went around C.R. Walker and started to ask people around if they were interested in the Youth Advisory Committee.
We intend to hold fundraisers and other activities to get more youth involved in the committee.
Well, what most young men in the community know of violence, and that they believe that this is what they have to achieve and aim for. But us, we realize that that's not what we want to do. That's not our decision. We have our own destiny and fate, and so what we do is we follow it. And although there are only 3 of us, we plan to encourage others to come and join us, because violence is not the way to go. That's what we believe in.
Well, an outstanding sportsman being honored in a tangible way as a new baseball stadium will be constructed in his honor.
That's right. Charles Fisher has a story.
Ground was broken just east of the Government High School for the new stadium, which will bear the name of the country's first major leaguer. Dignitaries joined family members and baseball fans for the turning of the soil. Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, says the stadium will pay tribute to a giant of a man.
Someone who is truly a remarkable Bahamian, and who, having made an historic contribution by being the first, will forever be the first, and therefore the country must surely make every effort to bring him back out of oblivion, because when the stadium that we had, such as it was demolished with the intention of replacing it, it hasn't happened yet. Andre had this symbol of his name removed from the landscape of the Bahamas.
daughter of the late Andre, Gina, thanked the Bahamas government and the Bahamian people for rebuilding the stadium.
On behalf of the Rogers family, I would like to say a special thank you to Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie and his government for honoring Daddy in such a fitting manner and ensuring that his legacy is protected for future generations of baseball players.
Brother Randy Rogers, a former baseball player in his own right, standing on the field of dream.
I'm sure he's looking down on us and smiling right now and being very pleased with what is happening. This is one of the things that he actually wanted to see happen. Looking at the design, they seem to be incorporating the smaller fields as well, which is good for the younger people. That's what he always wanted. He wanted to give an opportunity to all the young people, give them a chance.
Construction will begin in January 2015 and should be completed by the summer of 2015. For the ZNS News Network, I'm Charles Fisher.
Continuing its aggressive campaign ahead of the referendum, the Public Education Committee of the Constitutional Commission headed to the Berry Islands. Here's ZNS Scatterly.
Though no new date has been set for the constitutional referendum, the Constitutional Commission's Public Education Committee continues its push to educate as many Bahamians as possible on the 4 proposed bills. The committee's co-chair, retired Justice Ruby Nottage, stressed the fact that without the passage of these bills, Bahamians will be forced to deal with some level of discrimination, which shouldn't exist in a modern-day Bahamas.
I believe that a society that does not espouse equality of its citizenship is a society that is not just and fair. It still has one leg to go to bring fairness and justice to everyone.
The 4 bills have been designed with the intent to bringing equality for all Bahamians under the law. The committee's visit to Great Harbor Key brought about a first for them, as there were more men than women in the audience, a sign they believe that Bahamians are understanding that these bills affect everyone and not just women. Committee co-chair Teresa Moxie Ingram spoke to the importance of the second bill.
The goal is equal treatment under the law, so that whatever is good for Bahamian males who marry foreign spouses, the same law, the same principle, the same policy will apply to Bahamian women who marry foreign spouses.
And in her presentation, committee member Brandis Duncanson underscored the importance of these amendments.
The bills are seeking to equalize all sexes, whether they're male, female on the basis of their sex, or whether they're married or unmarried, to make all Bahamians, regardless of their sex, regardless of their marital status, equal.
On Friday morning, the committee headed to Grand Bahama to address those working at the Freeport Container Port and Lucayan Medical. But they will not stop there, as they plan to travel to North and Central Andros next week. From the R.N. Gomez All-Age School in Great Harbor Key, ZNS Adderley, ZNS Network News.
BTC continues its track across the Family Islands, opening a number of retail stores, and now they're preparing to roll out their new television service. Bimini is first on the list, and BTC customers will test the new service for 3 months free of charge before other Family Islands are included. Janaea Noel Ferguson has that.
The island of Bimini will be the first to be introduced to BTC's IPTV, which will serve as an alternative to current cable services. The announcement made during a special ceremony for the opening of the refitted BTC retail store. Residents on the island were pleased about the news.
Well, I have satellite. I have cable Bahamas too, but that's a bunch of foolishness. You know.
With the BTC TV, you're looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to switch over.
Excited to be one of the first to try the new TV thing which you all going to have, you know. I think the store is great, and the Bimini needs something like this, you know. Or you might be to work and you get a little break, you want to catch a little program, something like that, you know, should be very interesting.
So if they offer better channels, I'll drop cable. Right now I have satellite. I only get it because cable ain't showing nothing good, but I waiting on the TV.
Now, CEO Leon Williams also encouraged BTC customers to stick with BTC as competition prepares to come on stream.
So when the other fella come with his fancy colors and telling you he can give you this for free and that for free, whatever we could do for you, we have been here since 1892. People like Peter Beach and those keeping this network current and running for you, keeping us in the Bahamas on the cutting edge of technology.
Senior Undersecretary in the Office of the Prime Minister Jack Thompson notes that BTC's new developments are setting the pace for future growth on the island of Bimini.
We want BTC to be ready when the hotel open. We want BEC to be ready when the hotel open. We want water and sewage to be ready when the hotel open. And we want us to be ready when the hotel open and development comes along. And so
the newly refurbished stores also include a Bahamian flair. Artist Alan P. Wallace is being featured in Bimini's retail store. This is the 30th store that BTC is opening, with plans to open 31 more within the coming months. From Bimini, I'm Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.